Welcome to the Drew Yari Show.
Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Drew Yari Show on Spreaker. I am your host, Drew Yari. Why does my voice sound like that? I don't know why. I tried doing an intro before I made this intro, and I kind of fucked it up. I kept flubbing up my words. I for some reason, I record the show. I never do live shows. And I record this on Tuesday, and I release it on Wednesday. And for some reason, I always announce, hey, by the time you're listening to the show, it's already going to be Wednesday. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, we know. So I decided to just not say that anymore and just, do a straight-up intro. So how's everyone's week going so far? Mine is okay. I can't complain. I worked a pretty long shift at work yesterday. Well, not pretty long, because last Friday I stayed all day. Stayed from 10 to 10, or 10:30 to 10:30. What happened was one of our workers, I don't want to give out her business or anything, but basically, she's having a situation. That's all I'm really going to say about it. And, they asked me if I can just take her labor and just, I guess pull double duty, which what I ended up doing, and worked a really long shift. Pretty stoked to see that those extra dollar signs at the end of my paycheck. So I'm pretty happy about that. Monday, same thing, worked another double. She's mainly just waiting for HR to approve her, I guess, her light duty schedule until she has to go on maternity leave, which I pretty much just set her business anyway. So yeah, there's that. And then this coming Thursday, we're going to go see Captain Marvel. The movie comes out Friday. We for the Marvel movies, Marvel, DC, especially Marvel, we always have to go the Thursday before Friday, mainly because hey, that's how we do. And it's also better to go on those days to kind of avoid spoilers. Yeah, and with Captain Marvel, and I guess we can kind of jump into the news already. This movie's having a lot of controversy surrounding it, and I think and mainly has to do with the star Brie Larson. We talked about it a while back, which was she did an interview where she said and I don't have the quote in front of me, where she basically just said it's to someone, it sounded like she said she doesn't want any white people or white men on her press tour or the press junket. And, that's really not what she said. She said she wants more diversity on her press junket. And I'm all for diversity. But, to quote Joey Numbers from Wrestling Soup, that's just asking for trouble, saying that type of stuff. And I get, a lot of people can be very sensitive to an opinion like that. But, still, she wasn't trying to be racist. She wasn't saying, I hate white people and I hate white men. She wasn't saying that at all. She was just saying, hey, look, I want a little diversity. I'm trying to send a message with this movie that everybody can see it. Everybody from all walks of life can see it. Give me 1 second, because my cat is crying to come back in again. Why do you cry to come back in? Crazy cats, they always do this shit. Right when I'm recording, they want to cry to get out, and then 5 minutes later they're crying to come back in. Unbelievable. Anyways, like I was saying, with Brie Larson, I don't read too much into it. I mean, there's a lot of controversy going around with this movie where it seems like it's dividing people, and I don't think it's the studio. And that kind of goes into that kind of segues into the topic at hand. James Woods, takes a shot at Captain Marvel. And you know what? I can just pull up the tweet because I actually screenshotted it. It's on my phone. Somebody named Captain Mabel on Twitter put a tweet out saying, "Dear white man haters, you're not welcome at cinemas for Captain Marvel. This movie takes a stand against everything you represent. Don't pollute the audience with your toxicity. I stand in solidarity." What the fuck? I don't know what that was. "I stand in solidarity with every woman who has ever faced abuse. Love, Mabel." And then James Woods shared it and said, I'll stay out for this one. And he put out another meme, which is the meme of the guy walking with his girlfriend, and he sees a hotter girl walking by. On the meme, for the guy, it has moviegoers. For his girlfriend, it has Captain Marvel. And for the hot girl that he sees walking by, it says Alita Battle Angel. For the caption, he puts... For the caption, he puts, "When you have a choice, pick a movie where the studio doesn't hate half of its audience." He's wrong on that one, because I don't think it's Marvel, / Disney that's coming out of the woodwork and saying stuff like, we hate white men, we hate people that don't support women, we hate blah, 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 blah. It's not the studio that's doing it, it's the people that are reading way too much into what Brie Larson was trying to say. It's like with, and I hate to use him as an example, comparing him to Brie Larson, but it's kind of like with Trump. And this is probably the first time you'll ever hear me use a Trump reference on the show. It's kind of like when he came out the first time and was running for president and said, he wants to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. Mexico's full of nothing but rapists and drug dealers and serial killers. And then he follows it up with, "I don't think everybody from Mexico is a bad person. There are some good people there." A lot of people, took that first message of, Mexico is full of A, B, C, and D, and they kind of took it with, we get to deport their Mexicans back to Mexico. It's like, no, that's not really what he's trying to say. He says he's trying to keep our country safe, And again, I'm not a Trump supporter. People who think Trump is the devil. I'm not a Trump supporter. I wasn't even a Hillary supporter. I'm not a Bernie supporter. I'm a nobody supporter. I'm just stating the facts. Just stating the facts of what he said. Same thing with Brie Larson. You got all these men out there that are, taking her word as gospel and thinking that she's trying to say that she hates all white men and, white men are the devil and they suck and they're terrible and blah, 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 blah. Supposedly, and that's, well, not supposedly, and I don't know if I talked about this on the show last week, but Rotten Tomatoes had to take off the want to see option, and I think the comments section for Captain Marvel, because you're getting a lot of trolls, going on their webpage and saying that it was a horrible movie, it was a god-awful movie, it sucks. And yet, it comes out today that, Captain Marvel got, a fresh score on Rotten Tomatoes, which, again, I don't always heed. I'm not saying Rotten Tomatoes is like the end-all be-all movie scores, because they've rated a lot of movies. They gave movies good ratings, and I watched those movies. I didn't really like them, and then they gave movies bad ratings, and I actually liked them. And just to be fun, we'll kind of get into that a little bit. But with Captain Marvel, I'm just going to go in with an open mind because I'm not. If it's an MCU movie, Marvel movie, I'm always going to look forward to watching it. Maybe not Dark Phoenix, but I'm looking forward to seeing this. Introduces Skrulls, and they're kind of like a game changer to the current MCU, especially leading up to Endgame next month. So there's that possibility of, are there any current Skrulls in the MCU? The talk is that, Hawkeye / Ronin is actually going after Skrulls. Like when Black Widow finds them in Japan, when the first Endgame trailer, you see Hawkeye in the full Ronin, garb, and he just got done, offing someone. Supposedly he's in Japan and he's, hunting Skrulls. So we have that to look forward to. But yeah, Captain Marvel, go see it. If you want to see it, go see it. Don't let all this bullshit, distract you. And with James Woods, again, he's wrong. It's not, the studio's not trying to divide anybody. I don't know where he's getting that from. I don't know where a lot of people are getting this from. That, you know, again, that we think Marvel hates white men. It's like Captain America, white guy. Iron Man, white guy. Thor, white guy. You know, and you just brought in some more diversity, you know, to your movies with Black Panther. And now you have the first, you know, female-led superhero film with Captain Marvel, and then pretty soon you're gonna have a Black Widow film, which I believe is this year. It's coming out this year or next year. So, I mean, again, I'm going to go see it. I'm going to have fun. I'm pretty sure I'm going to like it. I don't know much about Captain Marvel. I have a Captain Marvel comic that I've yet to finish. From what I read from him, I liked it. I was reading a few other comics on getcomics.com. And so I like the character. The character is pretty cool. It's a pretty badass character, especially when she goes into binary mode. That's fucking awesome. I just hope she doesn't beat Thanos. Like, and it's not because she's a woman. It's because she literally just came into the fold. You know, if someone's going to beat Thanos, it should be someone who's been around a lot longer. But I wouldn't be mad if she beat Thanos. But then again, you know, it's like what I discussed with Mish. I asked him that question of, you know, does the movie need to be, you know, this SJW agenda? And he replied, you know, no, it doesn't. You know, it could very well be a very good movie. You know, and I'm using a lot of analogies. It's kind of like with AEW. We don't hate AEW. We're not saying we want it to, you know, fail and fall flat on its face. We want it to do well. For all we know, it could end up being very good. It could end up being, you know, surpassing, well, it's not saying much, but Impact. And then, you know, New Japan as like the strong number 2 in wrestling. Will it beat WWE? No. If it got maybe like a John Cena, that'd be interesting. Or a Batista. That's not going to beat WWE. You know, same thing with Captain Marvel. You know, a lot of us aren't looking forward to it, and then there's us that are looking forward to it. You know, I just want it to be good. That's the only thing I want for the movie, is it to be good, for it to entertain me. If it's bad, then I'm going to shit on it. Then I'm going to shit on it. But if it's good, I'm going to be happy. Speaking of which, you know, this Saturday, I will be doing a Captain Marvel review. I won't have time to do it after I get out. And I'm working on Friday. So, yeah, this Saturday I'm going to do a Captain Marvel review, and I'm thinking about doing a live show in here on Spreaker. So be on the lookout for that. I'll post it on social media, Facebook, and Twitter. I was actually thinking about going to see Captain Marvel again this Saturday. Mainly just so I can, like, write down some notes and see if there's anything I, you know, didn't notice in the first one. So, there's that. Yeah, just be on the lookout for that this coming Saturday. I'm making it official. Captain Marvel review, live show. Anyone who's willing to join in and talk with me about the movie, you're more than welcome. What else? Yeah, the Dark Phoenix trailer, which I believe came out last week. Yeah, the new Dark Phoenix trailer. As a matter of fact, let's watch it. Well, I'm gonna watch it. You guys are gonna hear it. All right. Okay. Dark Phoenix. Alright. This came out 5 days ago, actually. Okay, we see Jean Grey in an alley. It's raining, and she's crying.
Why did you make me do that?
Why did she do that?
Look at me. Focus on my voice. I'm not giving up on you, Jean.
And can it be any more obvious that she killed Mystique?
You're my family, Jean. Stop. No matter what.
Stop.
You might as well just say that she kills Mystique in this movie already.
Look. You're special,
Let's turn the volume down.
And if you stop fighting that force inside you, if
to embrace it, he will possess the very power of a god.
Patricia. That looks pretty intense.
Tell me how we fix this, Charles. Tell me what to do. I don't know what to do.
And what they don't understand, what they fear, and what they fear, we seek to destroy.
This is your fault, Charles. I tried to protect her.
I'm scared. When I lose control, bad things happen to people I love.
The girl dies.
She's still Jean. We can still help her.
Sometimes we want to believe people are something that they are not. By the time you realize who they are, it's too late.
So now she has an accent.
She's coming.
So I wonder why they didn't show her in that scene. Is she wearing like the comic book costume for Phoenix? That would be fucking dope as fuck. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, with this movie, I mean, it looks good. It looks like it's gonna be good. You know, I know a lot of people are gonna say, you know, the Apocalypse trailer was kind of similar, but with the X-Men Apocalypse movie, when I saw the trailer for that, I had a feeling it was gonna be very underwhelming, because you know, that's what kind of separates the X-Men movies from the current MCU movies is they try really hard to be dark, the X-Men movies, you know, and it works for them. Whereas MCU is very family related, and it's for the kiddos, even though it's not very, you know, kid friendly. And now with Apocalypse, I remember seeing trailers for those, and I kind of went, "This is probably either going to be pretty good or pretty bad." And it wasn't very good. It wasn't terrible, but you know, a couple parts I liked. But overall, the Apocalypse was very underwhelming. And it sucks because before that, you had, you know, the reboot of First Class, and then you had Days of Future Past. And Days of Future Past, you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that's the best X-Men movie so far. And I know people are going to say Logan, Deadpool, but I'm talking about X-Men, like an X-Men movie. You know, Deadpool is a great X-Men spin-off movie. Deadpool and Logan were, you know, two very different movies. They had nothing. They were separate from the X-Men. You know, Logan had X-Men ties, but you know, it was his own movie. Deadpool, you know, Deadpool 1 and 2, they interact with the X-Men sorta, but overall, it's its own movie. The X-Men, like actual X-Men movies, are their own thing, you know, and Days of Future Past was without a doubt the best X-Men movie. Because it did something that I think a lot of movies didn't have the balls to do, and that's right all the wrongs from the previous movies, because if you guys remember, the first two X-Men movies were great. You know, X2 was great. X3 was not very good. It was a movie that was very all over the place, you know, and that tried to introduce the Dark Phoenix saga, and it didn't really make her a badass, because it's like, you pretty much just shit all over Cyclops' mouth, because they already weren't doing much with him, and then they just have him die off screen. They don't even show him dying, they just insinuate that he's dead. And then they show his glasses, you know, floating in the air. And in the end, Wolverine has to kill her. And throughout the whole movie, she was basically Magneto's lackey, which I didn't like, because it's like the Dark Phoenix is supposed to be a fucking badass character, and you're basically making her, Magneto's bitch. I don't know. In this movie, she looks like she's going to be her own person, with Jessica Chastain's character, guiding her and telling her what to do. Who is her character supposed to be, Jessica Chastain? If anyone knows, please PM me. Let me know on Twitter. I'm going to look it up right now, but they haven't even said who she's going to be. Hold on 1 minute. Come on. Alright, who is Jessica Chastain playing in X-Men Dark Phoenix? Oh, here's a theory. Jessica Chastain's villain is the real Dark Phoenix Force. Okay. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother reading. Jessica Chastain was originally a Skrull, but not anymore. That'd be interesting if she ended up being a Skrull. That'd be a nice way to, I guess, tie in the X-Men to the current MCU. There's more theories. Is Jessica Chastain the Phoenix Force? Could Jessica Chastain as Phoenix save Dark Phoenix? So basically, her character is another Phoenix. That'd be an interesting theory. I mean, because they haven't said what her character is going to be, or who her character is. Because originally they wanted Angelina Jolie. That would have been she would have been fucking interesting. Jessica Chastain, I like her. I like her as an actress. So I can't really judge her before I actually watch the movie. But I'm looking forward to it. I like all the X-Men movies. Do I think this is going to be great? I don't know. It looks like it has the potential to be something very good, to be something really, really good. I mean, I say that like it's going to continue. It's the last X-Men movie that, and New Mutants, New Mutants is X-Men related, but it's its own thing. Kind of like Deadpool and Logan. Dark Phoenix is the last ever X-Men movie tied with Fox before Fox heads over to Disney. New Mutants, they haven't really said what they're doing with that, because they keep pushing it back and pushing it back. And the star of the film, she originally came out and said that they're doing more, reshoots, and then she came out and said that they haven't really done any reshoots, and they're not even sure when the reshoots are going to happen. And I'm looking at some news reports on Business Insider. X-Men spinoff movie New Mutants is reportedly in limbo as the Disney-Fox merger looms. New Mutants, X-Men spinoff directed by Fault in Our Stars director Josh Boone. Scheduled to release on August 2nd. The release date has been pushed back twice after a troubled production. Originally set for release in April 2018. It's supposed to be on Friday the 13th. It was moved to February 2019 and then moved again to August for reshoots. But questions have been raised about its fate as the studio behind the movie, Fox, prepares to merge with Disney. And we already know about that. I've talked about that 8 million times. The expected reshoots haven't yet been completed, and things seem to be in the hands of Boone. According to The Hollywood Reporter, which cited anonymous sources, THR also wrote that the movie appears to be in limbo currently. Fox has yet to respond. The first and only trailer was released in 2017 and is the only footage released so far. The movie's social media accounts have also been silent since early January. The last posts on its official Instagram and Facebook pages were on January 8th, and the last tweet from its Twitter was on January the 11th. And then it goes on to say, in a perfect world, the New Mutants could be an ideal transition from Fox's 20-year-old X-Men franchise to the Disney era, which will likely see the series rebooted with a new cast, though it remains to be seen how Disney and Marvel will utilize the characters. And that is that. There's more. Disney is launching its own streaming platform later this year called Disney Plus, which should serve as a home for the movie if the theatrical release doesn't pan out. New York Times reported that last year that the service would feature family-friendly content and no rated R movies in an attempt to break out in a crowded field of streaming platforms. This doesn't mean Disney will ban the project. Disney CEO Rob Iger recently said that Disney will be able to make R-rated mature movies like Deadpool after the Fox merger as long as they were branded correctly. It just might not release them on Disney Plus. The tone described by Heaton, the movie might be a better fit on Hulu. Disney will own 60% of Hulu once the Fox deal closes, and the service is already in the Marvel business. It's the home of Marvel's Runaways, which I've not even finished. And I guess this is the closing statement. The movie's producer, Lauren Schuler Donner, isn't a fan of that possibility. I want to see it released. I hate to see it thrown at Hulu. End quote. It'd be kind of weird if they don't release it in theaters because they made such a big deal about it when they showed the trailer. And, now the possibility is that it's going to be released on a streaming platform, which there's no shame in that. A lot of the more popular, the most popular shit nowadays is being released on the small screen, like made-for-TV movies, documentaries, of course, miniseries. There's no shame in that. I mean, I can see where she's coming from. She wants to see it released on the big screen, and they fucking didn't they post about behind the scenes photos of this movie and Entertainment Weekly? It'd just be kind of fucking weird if they do all that. It's like, oh well, we're not going to release the movie after all. It's like, that's fucking messed up. I would hate to see this movie not be released. Granted, it's not on my top movies I want to watch. Granted, I don't know much about New Mutants. I never read the comic book, so I can't really speak on it too much. But just judging by the trailer, it looks interesting. But at the same time, I'm not gonna say I'm hyped to see it. I would hope it gets released in theaters, but then again, I don't know what's gonna happen with this Fox Disney merger. I would like to assume Fox is gonna allow. Or not Fox, but Disney's going to allow Fox to kind of complete the movies that they already have, on deck to release. That Kevin Feige, he reviewed the final script for Dark Phoenix, which I think that should tell you something because I don't think Kevin Feige would just put out bullshit. If he knew this was going to be a bad movie, I don't think he'd want to release it. So I think he knows something we don't. So I don't know. That's pretty much it on that matter. What else? What else we got going on in movie news? I just had it up right now, and for some reason I closed it. Aquaman 2. I'm just gonna pull this up right now. Aquaman producer says delay for Aquaman 2 is to do it right. There's this big video coming up. I want to turn it off so I don't play it during the freaking show. The sequel was slated to come out December 16, 2022. That's so we got 3 years. Come on. So yeah, December 16th, 2022. You got that. And it's not even let me look at what the fuck I want. Because I saw something earlier I wanted to go over. Morbius cast Tyrese Gibson. The movie that's going to be about a Spider-Man villain. The Spider-Man villain, Morbius the Living Vampire. Which, stop. I don't care. Stop playing that shit. Tyrese Gibson may or not have been cast as Jon Stewart in Green Lantern Corps. Not yet. The actor has been cast in Morbius, the upcoming Spider-Man spinoff from Sony, and director Daniel Espinosa. The film will star Jared Leto in the title role and Doctor Who's Matt Smith in an as yet undisclosed role. Gibson's parts are similarly unknown. 2017, we wrote about 5 Marvel horror movies worth making, and here's what we had to say. Talking about comicbook.com. Morbius is in a lot of ways like Doctor Strange. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but that should be interesting. Yeah, Morbius, again, I think it's kind of... It's interesting that they're taking that character and making a movie out of it. Because him on Spider-Man, Spider-Man cartoon, I remember him from that. I'm interested in seeing what Sony is doing with a lot of these kind of horror like characters, because they list Venom as a horror movie, which I can see why, because it's like a monster movie. Boy down on his luck meets a symbiote, and the symbiote takes over him and is talking to him and telling him to do these crazy things. Now, yeah, Morbius, which people love vampires. We haven't had the vampire craze went away a long time ago because of Twilight. Thank fucking goodness. And they had shows like True Blood, which got everyone interested. In Morbius, I don't know what it's going to do with the whole vampire craze. I would imagine it's going to make vampires more cool. Since it's a Marvel thing, they're going to make it cool, which I'm down for. I don't know what to expect from it. They recently showed a photo. Well, Jared Leto put up a photo on his Instagram, which basically shows, I guess, the first day of production for Morbius, which is it just shows like his eyes, and then it shows like the marker or the thing they use in Hollywood to go and one action. It just shows it over his below his eyes. So I guess he's not going to show his full Morbius get up until like, I guess, middle of production or after the movie's done. But when's this movie coming out, by the way? Morbius the Living Vampire. Morbius movie. Morbius. When's it coming out? It's supposed to be in 2020. When the hell is it coming out? July 31st, 2020. So there you go. July 31st. I will be 31 when that movie comes out. Yeah, they just started. It says Avi Arad, who's been a big part of Marvel for the longest time. He confirmed a while back that filming will begin as early as February 2019, which it did. And how long has Avi Arad been working on Marvel, by the way? He's an Israeli-American businessman who became the CEO of company Toy Biz in the 1990s and soon afterward became the chief executive officer of Marvel Entertainment. So, old boy has been around for a long time. He came to Marvel Comics in the week of its bankruptcy in 1986. So, not a lot of movie news. Not too much movie news going around. It's kind of it's a slow week until after Captain Marvel comes out. Then they had the Shazam trailer, which I'm looking forward to that. That looks like it's going to be fun to watch. It kind of has that appeal that Spider-Man has, where, kids see Spider-Man, they want to be like him because they can relate. Shazam looks like he's relatable because it's about a kid who can turn himself into a superhero. For kids, they want to see that. They see that and go, I want to be just like him. I want to say Shazam and turn into this big, bulky, muscly superhero that can fly and has super strength. I'm rooting for it to do good. I think it will do good. It's a step in a different direction than what DC used to do. and I've been I've been singing their praises. They're going into a different direction, and I like it. It's don't try and play catch up with Marvel. Just worry about what you're trying to do. Worry about your movies. Worry about your spinoffs. Don't focus so much on Superman and Batman. Try and do your own thing, and it's working so far. What else? Trying to see if there's any more movie news. God damn it, I turned off notifications. There's really no movie news, to be honest. Again, it's kind of a slow week because of, not a lot of movies coming out this week. Spring is usually when the better movies come out. So, hold on just 1 second. But let's go to Rotten Tomatoes real quick, because going back to what I mentioned earlier, they're not the end-all be-all movies. It's interesting. It's nice to see that the movies got good reviews, because now we have something to look forward to, but we're not always gonna agree with what Rotten Tomatoes has to say, because I'm looking at Captain Marvel, got 83%, which is good. Let's click on it. See I forgot they turn off the reviews. They turn off the reviews until after the movie comes out. Did they, though? Okay. I'm looking at reviews. This guy gave him a bad review. Good thing it's still March. Captain Marvel would have made a weak start to the summer movie blockbuster season. And neither a blast from the past nor an inspiring glimpse into the future. At the end of the day, it's just another Marvel movie, and not a particularly good one at that. And I'm just going to read the bad reviews. Captain Marvel effectively makes feminism a target, a goal to be achieved in ways that feel more self-congratulatory than progressive. And let's go to all critic reviews. And all critics. Come on. Okay. Come on, ads. I don't care. And okay, this guy. Good thing. All right, I already read that. It's a woke S star Brie Larson's press push. I don't get what that means. It's a woke S star Brie Larson's press push. I don't get what he's trying to say. Let's see. This is a time-shifting space story teeming, and he spells teeming, Teeming, with deception at every turn, and yet, when it reaches its finale, one feels, quite frankly, uninvolved by it, hell, even bored. And great superhero origin story hobbled by the corporation using it for their own selfish purposes. Marvel not only finds itself lagging behind DC with its first female superhero, but utterly losing the contest. Captain Marvel is a boring mishmash of ideas from a score of other movies and franchises. I mean, that's probably all I want to read, but the consensus that I'm getting from the movie, because I looked at Jeremy Johns' review on YouTube. Check him out. He's one of my favorites. He pretty much just said that the movie, it has a very good beginning. The second half kind of seems to drag on, and it has that message of feminism, which it didn't bother him. But if you're looking for a movie about feminism and also to have a star that's very charismatic, Wonder Woman was the best example because she was the perfect combination of beauty and brains and brawn. Because she was a very powerful. She's a very powerful woman. She's also a very smart woman. She's a very beautiful woman, but there are also times in the movie that she felt vulnerable. In this movie, the talk is that Captain Marvel is supposedly stronger than Thanos, that she's the strongest Marvel character in the entire MCU. which I don't want to hear that. That's not something I really want to hear. I mean, I want to see that she's badass, but I don't need her to be the strongest character. I don't need anybody to be the strongest anything in the MCU. I want everybody to kind of have their own fair shake and be the strongest person in their own group. You know, I like that Captain America is the strongest out of his whole group. I like that Iron Man is the strongest out of his whole group. Like, he's the smartest in his whole group. You know, same with the Black Panther. He rules his country. You know, Ant-Man, he's strong in his own way. So, I don't know. And they didn't try to build Wonder Woman up that type of way. They kind of did and they didn't. The marketing, you know, ploy behind Wonder Woman, I think, was smart because they didn't try to build it up as, you know, a feministic movie. You know, you look at Chris Pine's character in Wonder Woman, they could have made him a useless piece of shit and just have him be, you know, Wonder Woman's lackey. He was useful. He played a part. He gave her that edge that she needed, you know, to take out Ares. And he was also helping her and, you know, her, the Amazonians, you know, take out the Germans. So he was useful. He played his part. They didn't try to make him look like a complete punk compared to Wonder Woman. You know, I don't know what they're going to do in Captain Marvel again. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm excited to see this movie. I'm excited to see where it goes. Yeah, but I'm kind of scared that it's going to have that, you know, preachy, feministic kind of undertone. But yeah, go back to Rotten Tomatoes. Let's like I said with Trez when she was on the show, I'm very ADHD, so I tend to kind of go back and forth with the topic. I'm gonna think of a random movie to put in. All right, Tommy Boy. One of my favorites. Let's see. %42% on Rotten Tomatoes. Tommy Boy. Chris Farley at his best. Let me see these critics. Stupid is apparently in. Go fuck yourself. The most peculiar aspect of this movie is that that some of it is played straight. I don't know what that means. It's some indication of the wit involved that Farley is reduced to cracking fat jokes at his own expense. Have you not seen his fucking comedy? The movie is an assembly of cliches and obligatory scenes from dozens of other movies. It's better. Go fuck yourself. What's another movie I like? Coming to America. Oh, what's wrong, Ellie Billy? It's my doggy. She has this weird yawn. I don't know if she's in pain or if that's just how she yawns. 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a classic. It should be higher. This comedy is generally tame and sappy. When we get it, what we get is a homogenized Eddie Murphy, drained of his kinetic comic charm and smiling sass. They clearly didn't watch the fucking movie. Starts on a bathroom joke, quickly followed by a gag about private parts, then wanders in search of something equally original of Eddie Murphy to do for another couple hours. The director is rather distracted. John Landis seems to be browsing through the scenes rather than gobbling them down. I don't know what the fuck that means. I'm just going to get off this because it's just going to make me mad. But, yeah. If you want to see Captain Marvel, just go see it. Forget all these white men that hate Brie Larson. I mean, Brie Larson's not my cup of tea. I probably would have found a better actress to play her, but again, I'm hyped to see it. I'm excited to see it, and look out for that review that I'm going to have this coming Saturday. And let's get to as you guys know, we had 3 deaths yesterday, and you know, it's like you said, it always comes in threes. It's very eerie. It's very eerie how accurate that was yesterday. We begin with well, actually, let's start first. This is actually the first one I saw earlier yesterday. Keith Flint, leader of the band Prodigy. I don't know if you guys remember the band Prodigy. Firestarter, Smack My Bitch Up, passed away at 49 yesterday. And looking at New York Times, his death was announced on the band's Instagram account in a post Monday. Liam Howlett, the band's main musician, said Flint had killed himself. Oh boy. Prodigy was scheduled to tour the U.S. in May, with one show set for Terminal 5 in Manhattan. It has not been announced whether the shows will go on instead. And yeah, Breathe. Oh yeah, I remember that song too. It was a good song. Yeah, that's just crazy. 49 years old, he took his own life. I don't know. Oh man, I'm still looking through all these songs. Yeah, that's just weird. You know, somebody can take their own life, because it didn't really mention anything on here that he was depressed or if he was showing signs. It's like with Chris Cornell, where a lot of people that knew him said he was suffering from depression. And you could never tell by the way he was. He just always seemed like he was always in high spirits. You know, he had a very beautiful wife, you know, beautiful daughter, and he just took his life like that. Same thing with Chester from Linkin Park. You know, it was said that he was kind of like that for the longest time, and, you know, Chris Cornell's death kind of drove him over the edge. So with Keith, it's not really mentioning a lot. It's not really saying if, you know, he was suffering from depression or if he showed signs. You know, I was reading something earlier that a lot of people, you know, said that his gimmick on stage, you know, in music videos was just that a gimmick. If I'm wrong, you know, please somebody go out of their way to correct me. But that's just what I read. You know, Firestarter was a fun video. You know, I remember, you know, you remember when MTV used to show music videos? You know, I did. Pepperidge Farms remembers. That's basically all three of those videos were always on MTV. You know, I remember Smack My Bitch Up caused a lot of controversy because the video just depicted, you know, from the point of view of somebody just going around just beating the shit out of people. And in the end, it shows that it was a woman. You know, a woman has a bad temper and is violent and likes to have sex with other people. It's like, yeah. And it's a video that was kind of ahead of its time. If that video came out today, it would have been condemned. It was condemned back then because they didn't play it on MTV, you know, as much. You'd have to go to like MTV2. But a video like that, you know, it would have like 1 billion hits on YouTube. So they were kind of the cornerstone of you know, bands introducing that kind of techno vibe to it. You know, and I'm not going to play a song because I don't want to get in trouble. But I was going to play a song. I don't know if I would get in trouble or not. But I'm just going to avoid that. But, you know, and I'm not big on techno. It has to be something really good to hook me in, and Prodigy kind of introduced that part of music to me. As long as it sounds good, I'm always going to like it. That's what I always say. And, you know, Prodigy, they were kind of ahead of their time. And usually bands that are ahead of their time, you know, they can either last longer or not. And, you know, they kind of lasted as long as they did for the 90s. And then, you know, again, it says that they're still touring and they're still making music. But, you know, Prodigy they were a band from the 90s. They're a big band from the 90s that anyone who grew up in that time would remember. So, you know, rest in peace, Keith. I hope we find out more facts about what really happened. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, you know, moving on to another, you know, part of the 90s that was big. It was announced Luke Perry from 90210 passed away at the age of 52. That shock, that was just something that kind of hit me, right in the face. I didn't really see that coming. So I remember last week he had a stroke. It was announced that he had a stroke, and I don't want to sound mean or anything. I just assumed he would be okay. Because Keith Barry's a very he's always been a very young looking guy. We all made the joke that he was on 90210 and he was already like 20 something. And again, he's kind of like he's very young and at the same time very older looking gentleman. But passed away. And that's just all right. I'm looking at this right now. He had a stroke last Wednesday. He'd been hospitalized since last Wednesday for his stroke, and then passed away on Monday. That's just, man. Again, that sucks. I feel terrible for his family. Trying to look at more, see if there's any more details. Yeah, he was currently on Riverdale, and he was playing the father of the main character Archie. I haven't watched Riverdale. I just watch it now. I think his wife was Molly Ringwald, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like he was a big deal back in the day. It's was a big deal. I mean, I never watched it. I maybe watched a few episodes, but I didn't really watch it. I wasn't that big of a fan of the show. It was more of a thing, I guess, for kind of like that older, teenage cool audience, which my whole thing was, I watched, the X-Men and Batman superhero cartoons and, watched horror movies that I shouldn't be watching. And other than that, I didn't really watch anything on TV. I remember him from the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, which Chrissy Swanson, she went on Twitter and posted something very nice about Luke, and she said I went to bed praying for you for his stroke, and then woke up with the news, found out that he had passed away. And then, I feel terrible for anyone who, is obviously his family and also, knew him personally. Shannon Doherty, who actually played his love interest on 90210, Brenda, which, Dylan and Brenda, she said, that he reached out to her during her cancer, because she currently is dealing with cancer at the moment, and, would talk to her and ask her if she's okay, and, I just found this out today from Julian from the Wrestling Court. I listened to his show from last week. His shows come out every Thursday. That they were actually going to reboot 90210. And not reboot it, actually. They were just going to, I guess, redo it, remake it, or just make it with the original cast, but they're all older, and I guess their parents or whatever, and their kids are going to interact with one another. And, supposedly, according to Shannon Doherty, that's the idea that her and Luke had. And unfortunately, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they're still going to go through with it or not do it. I mean, because, from what I knew, it's just that he was kind of the star of the show. He was a huge deal in the 90s. He was a teen heartthrob. There's a meme, saying if your wife grew up in the 90s or was a fan of 90210 or something like that, go check on her because she's not okay. And that's terrible. It's terrible because he was young. He was pretty young. He was a pretty young guy, and it was just very unexpected. That this had to happen. Strokes are no joke. It's if you need to really check out for the early signs of a stroke. my girlfriend's mom had passed away about 7 years ago. It's been 7 years already. She just had a stroke. Like, she literally just had a stroke. And I remember asking her about it, like, were there any signs that, did you guys notice any signs that something was up with her? And they said no. And, with a lot of these things, there are signs, at the same time there's not. Like, it can literally happen to anyone. You can have a clean bill of health for the majority of your life, and it can happen like that. A heart attack can happen like that. A stroke can happen like that. You look at Roman Reigns, and I'm not trying to compare and contrast, but, we never expected him. We never even, thought that he could be someone that would have leukemia. And he has leukemia. I mean, it's in remission now, but it's not going to go away. Luke Perry, another example, my girlfriend's brother, about a year and a half ago, he had the earliest signs of a stroke. He basically just said he was getting ready to go to work, and he was trying to drink something. And the drink kind of trickled on the side of his mouth. He looked in the mirror and realized, I need to go to the hospital. He's fine now. He's 100% okay now. And I'm glad. And then that's it's the one thing is that he noticed it. So that's the best decision he's made, that he noticed it. With Luke Perry, it's not really mentioning were there any signs that did he notice anything, did his family notice anything, did his friends notice anything. Again, going back to what I said earlier, a lot of these things, there can either be signs or it can just literally happen like that. It doesn't matter how young or old you are. It can literally happen to you like that. It could be a combination of stress. JR, when he had his stroke with Bell's palsy, he said it happened because of stress. After his father passed away. I'm trying to think of another name. If you're not taking care of yourself, it could happen. A lot of these things mainly happen to stress. In the line of work that Luke was in, stress was a big factor because when you're working in the entertainment industry, there's a lot of stress. But it's very unfortunate because one thing that I thought was pretty cool about him was that he was a wrestling fan. Luke Perry was a big wrestling fan. I remember him appearing on an episode of Smackdown. And by appearing, I don't mean I don't think he didn't appear on the show, but they just showed him in the audience. And afterwards, they just put on WWE.com, former now 2-0 star, Luke Perry in attendance, and it just shows them taking pictures with random wrestlers. And one thing I didn't know, and kudos to Kevin Castle. He talked about this on the Kevin Castle, Don Tony Kevin Castle show. And yesterday was that he would actually show up to sets, for Now 2-0 or other movies or other TV shows wearing wrestling shirts. And I thought that was pretty fucking cool. And his son is actually a wrestler, which I didn't know. And I'm trying to drag the freaking screen down. His son, Jack, is known as Jungle Boy in the independent circuit. Supposedly he was gonna... there was talk about AEW signing him. Jungle Boy Nate Coy, that's his name. He's 21 years old, wow. And Pro Wrestling Sheet. And, from what I read about him was that Luke Perry was he wasn't one of those, stage parents. He was very proud of his son. He would always go to wrestling events and, record, his son's wrestling matches. And he mainly just want to go there for his kid. From what I hear, he would just go there, with glasses and a cap and didn't want to be disturbed. He just want to be there for his kid, which makes sense. And let me play this video real quick of his son, Jungle Boy. Wait. Okay, let me open this up in a different thingy. Okay, let me replay this. Shrine. Alright, let me make sure this video comes out. The settings are right. Okay, Luke Perry attends a local event to support his son, aspiring wrestler named Jungle Boy.
ProWrestlingSheet.com.
It's a lot of hair. Where's Luke? Is that Luke? Okay. I see Luke. He's standing up. Oh.
ProWrestlingSheet.com.
Alright. Okay, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, I might have to check out a few of his matches. And then it says right here, Luke cancels wrestling appearance following the death of his father. You're on etcanada.com. Oh man, that's gotta be rough for that kid. I mean, condolences out to the family. He's supposed to wrestle next week, and then he canceled. As TMZ notes, the 21-year-old is an aspiring pro wrestler who goes by the name Jungle Boy. He was recently signed by All Elite Wrestling. So he was signed by AEW, after all, huh? So I mean, yeah, good. Good for him. He has a. I mean, that's gotta suck. I mean, that's gotta suck to be signed by a up and coming company, and you're an up and coming wrestler, and then your father passes away in the same week. That's just terrible. I feel awful for this I feel awful for the family. Oh man. And his daughter shared a Instagram post with her father, and I just feel terrible. I mean, again, I know the consensus is that, they're actors, they're not real people. Well, it's like, they are. They're still real people. I mean, I feel terrible when anyone dies. I'm one of those softies that, if I hear about an actor dying and, the consensus about them was that they're a good person, like with Luke and, Paul Walker, I feel terrible. And I feel terrible for the family. We can't, just because, we don't share that, I guess, that life that, these celebrities share, doesn't mean they're not people. They're still people. They're still people like us. They bleed like us. They breathe air like us. And from what I read about, Luke Perry, is that he was a very non-Hollywood type of person. He's kind of a normal guy, and wanted to, just live kind of a normal life away from Hollywood. He wanted to do his own thing, pick his own roles, be around his family, support his son who's a wrestler, and it just sucks. I feel terrible. I feel terrible for the son, the daughter. Rest in peace, Luke Perry. And later last night, another death was announced. Like, literally another death. Like, and this happened, and they actually broke this during DTKC. King Kong Bundy passed away at age 61. And kind of a very eerie thing about his death was that he actually made a Twitter post literally 4 hours before he passed away. And I don't have the post in front of me, but it was basically he said that him and Al Snow were going to appear at WrestleCon. And then he just passes away. And I'm trying to look and see how he passed away. It didn't mention if there was any foul play or maybe he had a heart attack. I don't see. And I'm not trying to assume he had a heart attack. I'm just. But it's not saying how he died. There's no news on how he passed away. But yeah, King Kong Bundy. I was too young to remember his career. I know he main evented Mania against Hogan. When did that happen? Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy. Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy at WrestleMania 2. Was that the main event, though? Okay. WrestleMania 2 main event. WrestleMania 2 main event.
According to Wikipedia, WrestleMania 2 was the second annual WrestleMania professional wrestling pay-per-view event produced by the World Wrestling Federation.
Okay, I didn't need your input on that. Yeah, that was the main event. That was the main event for WrestleMania 2. It was Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy in a steel cage match for the WWF title. Looking at the rest of his career accomplishments. AWA Superstars of Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, NWA AWA Southern Heavyweight Champion, NWA AWA Southern Tag Team Championship with Rick Rude, NWA National Tag Team Championship with the Masked Superstar, IPW Heavyweight Championship, IWS United States Championship, MCW Heavyweight Championship, NWA New York Heavyweight Title, NWA American Heavyweight Championship, NWA American Tag Championship, 2 times with Bill Irwin and Bugsy McGraw, and WWWA Heavyweight Championship. Alright, I'm just typing a message in my head. Yeah, that's unfortunate. He's wasn't in the Hall of Fame, which, I mean, when you look at his, body of work, he main evented the second WrestleMania against Hogan. He has a very impressive body of work. He was, truly one of the bigger, no pun intended, the best, big guys out there. He could work. I've seen, highlights of his matches. He could work. He could go out there and work with the best of them. He can get the crowd riled up. I think the reason why they haven't invited him to be in the Hall of Fame was, if you watch kayfabe commentary, he has some not so very nice things to say about the McMahons, preferably Vince. And, not to say that the McMahons are very petty people, but the McMahons are very petty people. They'll more than likely induct him, I guess, next year, now that he's passed away, because that's kind of how they do things. That's what they did with Randy Savage. Randy Savage, they never inducted him when he was alive, but they had Lanny do it so they can make themselves look good. But, that's just crazy. They always said it comes in threes, and then literally yesterday it came in threes. You had a rock star, a movie star, and a wrestler. That's just fucking odd. That's just creepy how accurate it was yesterday. But rest in peace, all 3 of those guys. Condolences to their families. All 3 of those guys had a lasting impact on us somehow. Whether it's due to music. If you were a fan of metal or metal techno like Prodigy, if you grew up on 90210, if you're a child in the 90s and you love 90210, if you're a diehard wrestling fan, all 3 of these deaths affected you in some way. And it sucks. Again, it sucks when anyone dies. Rest in peace to all 3 of these guys. Condolences to their families, condolences to their fans. Let's move on to a much lighthearted topic. Wrestling. Didn't get a chance to watch Raw last night. I saw the highlights, and I guess the only highlights that are worth talking about was Triple H coming to the ring, calling up Batista, and I thought the promo was pretty good. I know a lot of people didn't really care for the promo. Usually when Triple H comes out, it's he has the moniker of being a heat vacuum because he tends to suck the energy right out of the place. But I like the promo. It was kind of short, sweet, and to the point. Even though Triple H is yelling angry stepdad promo is kind of old shtick, but yeah, and it was a good promo. Batista, I guess, released an Instagram post, which for some reason I couldn't pull up on my laptop, but I'll try and pull it up on here. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Are you kidding me? Come on, I hate when fucking Instagram does this shit. Okay, Batista. Oh, I'm typing his name wrong. Dave Bautista.
Hey, Triple H. Well, I guess I got your attention. I'd like to apologize for not making it to Raw tonight, but I'm not going to, because I just don't want to be there. I don't have other obligations, and I'm definitely not afraid of you. I just don't like Philly. No offense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about how much I don't like Pittsburgh. No offense. And maybe I'll see you there. Maybe I won't. We're going to play this game by my rules. Till the game's over. You see what I did there? Game's over.
Hopefully you guys can hear that. Come on. Yeah, I don't know what to really gauge from that promo. He's I guess he's trying to be condescending. I like Batista as a promo. Not a promo. I like Batista as a heel. He works better as a heel. I don't know where this feud's going to go. Personally, I would rather see Batista versus somebody else. We already saw Batista versus Triple H. I mean, the talk is that he actually, wanted this. He wanted to face Triple H at Mania. When he first came back, a while back when he was booed out of the building and at what's it called? At the Royal Rumble in Pittsburgh, he supposedly, he wanted to work a program with Triple H, but they decided to have him come out in weird skinny jeans and have him win the Rumble, which that was bad. I just remember that Rumble. That was just bad. That was kind of uncomfortable to watch. Literally the whole entire arena just yelling, "Fuck you," at Batista. And Batista didn't even give a fuck. He was just like, "Fuck you too. I'm here to get paid." Not that Batista's like Brock Lesnar. He actually liked wrestling. But I would rather see Batista face someone else. I mean, I hope that now that he's back, I mean, maybe he'll stay a little extra longer, but I don't know, I doubt it because, after Mania, he's going to have to do some Marvel shit. Like, because Endgame comes out, and he pretty much went on Twitter and said that he's coming back. That he's not really dead, which we already knew that, but he's kind of in I don't give a fuck mode since they decided to fire James Gunn, which I don't blame him. So he's going to have a lot of press tour to do for Marvel, and then he's got I think he's doing the remake of Dune. So he's a very busy boy. But in a perfect world, I would like him to stay. And, knowing WWE, they would probably give him another title run, which that wouldn't bother me all that much. I would hope at Mania they would maybe go the smarter route and make this like maybe an Extreme Rules match or a no disqualification or maybe even another Hell in a Cell, but we already saw that. But it's probably going to be a straight up wrestling match. I thought that Triple H was going to miss Mania. That's what I heard. Was the last time he wrestled was at that Crown Jewel, and he actually ended up hurting himself during the match. And I thought he was going to miss Mania. That's what I heard. I guess not. I mean, I guess he's made a full recovery. I would hate to see Triple H go out there and give like a half-ass performance. But again, this matchup I don't really have an interest in. I'm glad to see Batista back, but I would rather see a different matchup. I mean, maybe Triple H can pull a swerve and be like, you know, I can't wrestle. So Dave, you're gonna wrestle this guy. But then that wouldn't make sense because Batista is mainly looking at Triple H. So I don't know how that's gonna go. You know, the Shield is back. The Shield is now officially back. Roman Reigns came out. Seth Rollins came out too. They talked, and throughout the whole show, they were trying to recruit Dean to form the Shield one last time. I don't know why I'm still talking about Triple H. And at the end of the show, they come back to save him. Again, I didn't watch it, so I don't know what happened. I just saw that last part. And, you know, they're all trying to get Dean to fist him. Dean says, no, I will not fist anyone. I will not fist anyone, final fisting. And the Shield is now back, which they're going to have a match this Sunday, which we'll get into pay-per-view predictions after I'm done with Raw and SmackDown. There's that. And then to end the show, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch come up with Stephanie McMahon, and Stephanie McMahon apparently she made the match at Fastlane, Charlotte and Becky. The original idea was who would win the vacant women's title because she was going to strip Ronda of the title. I'm not sure why. Again, I didn't watch the show, so I don't know. I might have to watch it later on. And Ronda comes out and pretty much turns heel. She says, you know, fuck that. I'm just paraphrasing. You know, fuck all you, fuck this. I'm tired of being nice. You guys boo me. Go screw yourselves. No more Mrs. Nice. I think she was gonna say no more Mrs. Nice. No more Mrs. Nice bitch. And then she attacks Charlotte, and then she attacks Becky and beats the shit out of her. And now we have a heel Becky, or not a Becky, but a heel Ronda Rousey, which I'm all for, by the way. That's something I've been dying to see. She needs to be a heel. She doesn't work well as a face. She works better as a heel. So that kind of goes into SmackDown, where they changed the stipulation of the match for Sunday, which is if Becky beats Charlotte, she'll be added to the match. She'll make it a triple threat, which, duh. If Charlotte wins and Becky, I guess, Charlotte said Becky will be done. I don't know if that means she'll be fired or she just won't be part of the match. I'm assuming fired. I missed the first 30 minutes of SmackDown. I came in when Charlotte was in the ring talking shit, saying that she was going to call out Becky, which she did later on, and they ended up beating the shit out of each other. Becky ended up getting the upper hand and beating her up. What else happened on the show? Ricochet and Aleister Black came out as a tag team for whatever random reason. They defeated the Bar, and then Nakamura and Rusev came out and attacked them, and then the Hardy Boys came out, kind of with the old school, 90s garb when they were, with the Brood, which I'm digging, by the way. Matt is in crazy shape, by the way. Because, for the longest time, I wouldn't say he was fat, he was always kind of stocky. He has lost a dick ton of weight. He looks better. I have to give it to Matt. They announced that for this Sunday, it's going to be Ricochet, Aleister Black versus the Revival versus Bobby Roode and Chad Gable for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Supposedly they were facing the Revival on Raw and they almost beat them. Again, I didn't watch Raw, so I'm not sure what the fuck happened. Fatal 4-way match for the United States Championship. R-Truth makes another open challenge, calls John Cena's childhood hero, even though R-Truth is 5 years older than John Cena. But that's okay. Carmelo coming out to her white girl dancing And I don't give a damn when anyone says Carmella cannot dance. That's just white girl dancing, pretty much. I mean, I can't dance either, but I don't pretend that I'm a dancer. Yeah, it makes it a fatal 4-way with the other two men, Andrade and Rey, and Samoa Joe inserts himself in the match. Samoa Joe wins. Samoa Joe's the United States Championship. He wins his first singles title on the main roster, which I didn't see coming. I guess they kind of want to give him something because, and I like Joe. I like Joe as a killer. I like his promos. I like his work. He has good matches. The inside joke about Joe for the longest time was that he's basically pin me, pay me. Like he just wants to go out there, get the crowd riled up, beat the shit out of somebody, and then end up losing to the face. As long as he's getting paid. I guess that's not the case anymore since he's the U.S. champion. Where's that going to go? Is he going to defend the title against John Cena at Mania? That kind of seems like the way to go. Since, R-Truth was, talking about John Cena, leading up to, leading up to his title loss. And I don't think they were going to make R-Truth versus John Cena. Because the talk is that WWE wants John Cena at Mania, they just don't have an opponent for him. John Cena versus Samoa Joe, I think, would be a good match. Because you have the white meat babyface in John Cena, and then you have the douchebag heel in Samoa Joe. It works. I think it would be a good match. Would that mean John Cena is going to win the U.S. Championship? Probably. Which, that would kind of suck. Because I think Joe kind of deserves this title run. Because I honestly thought that he was going to beat AJ for the title during their feud. But, for whatever reason, they didn't give it to him. Joe has a very long history of injuries, and he's not very reliable as a champion. Or as a WWE, or as a world champion. So they gave it to Daniel Bryan, which is a better idea. What else happened on the show? Mandy Rose squashed Naomi, and then Asuka came out and beat the shit out of both of them. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. They're basically making it obvious that it's going to be AJ versus Randy at Mania. They're making it obvious. I mean, it seems like it could be a good match because the talk about Randy is that he doesn't really go out there and try anymore. But when given the right opponent, he can go out there and have a great match. I think AJ versus Randy Orton could be a very good match. As far as the feud goes, I don't get where this is coming from. I don't know if Randy's trying to play the role of, I'm a WWE guy, and you've never been a WWE guy your whole career, and it took you 15 years to get here. It's like, what's the point of this feud? But yeah, that could be a good match at Mania. You look at the Mania card so far, it's looking pretty decent. I mean, because you have Seth versus Brock, which that could go either way. You have the women's match, triple threat match, which I think that's going to be the main event. Like, no questions asked. Samoa Joe versus John Cena, possibly. The talk is that they want the Hardy Boys versus the Usos. In a regular wrestling match or in a ladder match? I would think if that match does end up happening, it would be their first time wrestling each other. Just have it be a regular match, and then continue the feud and have it be like a ladder match later on down the line. That's kind of like what they like to do. Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston and Kevin Owens. That kind of seems like the way to go for Mania. Give Kofi his WrestleMania moment, at the same time give Kevin Owens his WrestleMania moment. Daniel Bryan already had his WrestleMania moment. Kevin Owens has never really had a Mania moment. Supposedly the original idea was that it was going to be him and Jericho for the Universal title at Mania 2 years ago, but they decided to hotshot it and give it to Goldberg for whatever reason. But if it's going to be Owens versus Kofi and Bryan, I'd be down for it. And then supposedly is going to be Lacey Evans versus Asuka, which Lacey Evans better be good in the ring, because I don't get what the point of these weird random 10 seconds of her wasting our time segments are. I told my girlfriend, if any of you are Conan O'Brien fans, like old school Conan fans when he was on NBC, it's like that segment he would do where he would have, and now Frankenstein wastes 30 seconds of our time. That's basically what Lacey Evans is. She comes out and wastes 10 seconds. She comes out and she basically just like pans to the crowd and then leaves. Is she actually going to fucking wrestle? But I don't know. The main event of the show was Kevin Owens. Or no, that was the main event. Kevin Owens did face Luke Harper. Ended up being a distraction because, Daniel Bryan interfered. Then Mustafa Ali made his return to SmackDown. So now that Mustafa Ali is back, how does he fit into the fold? Come to think of it, are they going to make it a fatal four-way match? Because Mustafa Ali can come out and be like, Kofi, I appreciate you for everything you've done, but you took my spot, and now I want a WWE title match. If you remember, Mustafa Ali, him and Daniel Bryan were kind of having their own little mini feud. So they could add Mustafa Ali to the fray. They can make it a fatal four, which I wouldn't be opposed to. That wouldn't bother me all that much. That'd actually be a pretty good match. You have four guys that can make it interesting. You have Daniel, you have Kofi, you have Kevin Owens, and now you have Mustafa Ali. It'd be a really good match. And then again, the end of the show was Becky and Charlotte fighting. And that's pretty much my review for both shows. And again, I didn't watch Raw. I was working late, so I didn't get a chance to watch the whole show. I just saw the clips on YouTube on the tube. All right, now let's go with our Let's end the show with our Fastlane predictions. Fastlane is this Sunday, which I honestly forgot Fastlane was going to be this Sunday. I'm going to be working, so I will probably miss the first half of Fastlane. Yeah, Fastlane is this Sunday, March 10th, in Cleveland, Ohio, at the Quicken Loans Arena. Pre-show match, which I'm almost disgusted this is a pre-show match. Andrade versus Rey Mysterio. This should be on the main show. I mean, maybe they want to give Rey Mysterio the night off. I don't know how that's going to work. But yeah, this is a pre-show match, which that's atrocious. This match, these two have great chemistry. I love watching these two work. I don't think there hasn't been a feud in a while that I can say with complete honesty I'll never get tired of watching these two, because I can't get tired of watching these two. These two have great chemistry. They have amazing matches. And it's kind of similar to Rey Mysterio's feud with Eddie Guerrero. Am I saying Andrade is the next Eddie Guerrero? No, I mean there's some similarities to him and Eddie, but Andrade's not so much of a high flyer as Eddie was. Eddie was a good was a good ring technician, as Andrade is, but Andrade has his own style. Andrade is more of a striker and a brawler at times. Give this one to Andrade. Continue this feud. I hope it goes on at Mania. Have him. Let him go out there and have an Iron Man match at Mania. I'm just going to go out and say it. Andrade versus Rey Mysterio in an Iron Man match at Mania. Let it happen. Alright, the first match on the main show. Well, it's not the first match, it's just the first match in order. The Revival versus Aleister Black and Ricochet versus Chad Gable and Robbie Roode for the Raw Tag Team Championships. On Twitter, are we just assuming that Black and Ricochet are going to win? Why are they a tag team? It didn't really explain why they're a tag team. It just said, hey, here are NXT guys, we're just going to put them in tag teams. But I have a feeling they're going to win. I mean, it kind of seems obvious they're going to win because the Revival aren't really shit. They're not shit, by the way. And I like the Revival, but they're not anything. They've already lost non-title matches. I don't know. It just seems like the way to go to put on Black and Ricochet, and also because WWE, they're all about the ratings now and making the show more interesting. Give it to Aleister Black and fucking Ricochet. Should be an okay match. Supposedly they want to turn Bobby Roode into a heel, which is something they should have done ages ago, but whatever. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. And if Lynch wins, she'll be added to the WWE Raw Championship match at Mania. Obviously, Becky Lynch is going to win. I don't know how this match is going to go since Becky is still, portraying that she's hurt. She's going to win. There's really no doubt about that. She's going to win. Make it a triple threat at Mania. Make it the main event. That's the way to go. This is the biggest storyline in the company for the last. Actually, this storyline when you added Ronda into it, and also Charlotte, the storyline's been going on since August. With Becky being the man, and her and Charlotte, her being jealous of Charlotte, Charlotte taking her flair, no pun intended, away from her. And then you add, Ronda into the mix when they were supposed to fight at, Survivor Series. And then, Nia's dumbass decided to ruin everything. I'm just, trashing everybody. So that didn't happen. And then Charlotte came in and the match was even better and beat the shit out of Ronda. So this has been going on since August, so that makes it almost 7 months. That's crazy. Continuity. I'm a fan of it. But yeah, Becky's gonna win. I'm not sure how the match is gonna go since she's still, favoring the leg injury, I guess. Next match, The Shield. The Shield is back, ladies and gentlemen, with Roman Reigns, The Ambulance, Seth Rollins, versus Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley. This match, I think, is going to be exactly how we think it's going to be. For some reason, they love Baron Corbin. I will never understand why. The guy is just a giant bowl of meh. He brings nothing to the table. At least Drew McIntyre brings something to the table. He has a look. He can wrestle. He's an okay talker. At the same time, he just sounds like he's just the whole, I'm an angry Irishman and I'm going to yell into the camera. That was a bad accent. But all three of these guys suck. Corbin sucks. Drew McIntyre is, I guess, tolerable. Bobby Lashley's not very good. I don't get the obsession the company has with these three guys, especially Baron Corbin. You look at McIntyre and Lashley, and those dudes look like they're cut from mold. And then you see Baron Corbin, and the dude has a fucking pot belly. Which, and I'm not one to talk, but I'm not getting paid a shit ton of money to look like a badass, and whatever. Supposedly that's the reason why they're keeping him in his Applebee's waiter get up, is because he has a pot belly, he has a belly. Now the Shield are going to win this match. I'd be shocked if they lost, but they're not going to bring Roman Reigns back and have him lose. If they do lose, I would say Dean's going to eat the pin. They're going to make Seth look as strong as he possibly can heading into his match against Brock. But yeah, the Shield's going to win. There's no doubt about it. Asuka versus Mandy Rose for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Asuka's winning this. Mandy's okay in the ring. She's not terrible. She's actually very good in the ring. Her on the mic, she sounds like Catwoman when she talks, and that's not a very good thing because she has a very corny wrestling voice. I don't know who's writing for her, but they need to stop. They need to get someone to not write. They just need to stop writing for people in general and just let these people speak off the cuff. I mean, maybe some people do need people to write for them, but from what I see about Mandy Rose, she's very charismatic. She's kind of a goof, so I think she can maybe talk for herself. I believe yesterday or over the weekend, there was a house show, and Mandy Rose accidentally dropped Asuka on her head, They had to show up the referee had to, show up the X sign, as in, she's really hurt, so that she had to take her to the back. Asuka put on her Twitter that she's okay. That, it's no concussion, she's fine, she can go. So that's good. This match isn't going to be anything special. Asuka's kind of the forgotten champion. I mean, she's definitely a part of the top 4 girls in the company. But, compared to compared to what's going on with, Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte, she's kind of an afterthought. I mean, because she won the SmackDown Women's Championship in December. And then she beat Ronda at Mania. Not Ronda. She beat Becky, clean at Royal Rumble. And then after that, they just took her off TV for whatever reason. And supposedly the idea was that they didn't just want to throw in her any type of feud. They wanted to have something, special for her. They gave her Mandy Rose. And again, I like Mandy Rose, but I mean, I guess you can't blame them because they don't really have anyone else on the roster besides the other 3 girls. And you need to give Asuka something. I mean, my idea was that at Mania, just have her face, Io Shirai or Kairi Sane, or have her face fucking Shayna Baszler. That would have been an interesting concept. But supposedly the idea is that they wanted her face Lacey Evans at Mania for whatever reason. I don't know why. Oh boy. But yeah, this match Asuka should win. I hope it's not a squash match. It'll probably be a back and forth match to make. They're going to want Mandy to look good. I have a feeling Mandy's going to look good in this match. And not just physically, but also wrestling-wise. Next match, Women's Tag Team Championships. The Boston Hug Connection, Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax and Tamina. Bayley and Sasha are winning. They're not just going to give them the Women's Tag Team Championships and have them lose on their first defense. They're going to win. I have a feeling they're going to hold on it for a very long time. If I had to guess, I would say they're going to hold on to it until maybe SummerSlam, or the next. Or actually, they came out and said they're not doing another Evolution pay-per-view event. But I think they're going to hold on to the titles till SummerSlam, and then that's going to set up the feud with Sasha and Bayley, which should have happened ages ago. This match is going to be what we think it is. It's going to be sloptastic. I think it's going to be okay, but it's going to be sloptastic. I'm not looking for any 5-star matches out of this pay-per-view. It's a very unnecessary pay-per-view. Next match, the Usos versus defending their tag titles against Miz and Shane McMahon. Usos are winning this, and this is going to set up Shane and Miz's WrestleMania feud, which is unfortunate because this feud literally happened, or this tag team literally happened. The tag team was formed in January, and they won the tag title game. Where you better not, you little fucking cat. The cat's trying to climb on my laptop. They formed the tag team in January. They win the tag titles in January, and then they lose the tag titles in February. Which is just what the fuck? I mean, if you're gonna turn one of the guys heel, fine, but, wait. Don't, make it happen ASAP. And I like The Miz as a face, so far. I like him as a face. He comes across as very likable. Miz, in fact, in real life is very likable. Do I want to see Shane as a heel? No, not really. He's not very good as a heel. He works better as a face. It's obviously going to be Shane and Miz is going to be the heel, which is very unfortunate. And then back to what I said, earlier, is that they want the Hardys versus the Usos at Mania. So I think that's going to be the way to go. The main event is Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens. It's supposed to be Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. Vince McMahon decided to replace Kofi with Kevin Owens, with the returning Kevin Owens. He looks great. Who's now Kevin Austin, Stone Cold Kevin Owens, using the Stone Cold Stunner, which it looks good. He looks good doing it. Not like John Cena with his weird, jumping off the top rope Stone Cold Stunner. But yeah, it looks good on Kevin Owens. I don't expect Daniel Bryan to lose his title. The New Day is going to get involved. Kevin Owens not Kevin Owens, but Kofi Kingston is going to get involved somehow. I have a feeling this is going to end in a fuck finish. Like, the New Day is going to get involved because Daniel Bryan's going to maybe talk some shit to Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston's going to come out and beat the shit out of Daniel Bryan when Kevin Owens looks like he's about to get his title. And just the way they're painting it is it's going to end up being a triple threat. Or it might even be a Fatal 4 you can add Mustafa Ali to the mix. So there you go. There's my... Daniel Bryan's winning, by the way. If you didn't already guess. There's my Fastlane predictions. I don't expect much out of this pay-per-view. It's a very unnecessary pay-per-view. I mean, Mish had the idea that from Mania until... Or not Mania, but between the Royal Rumble and Mania, there shouldn't be any other pay-per-views. It'd be a better way to build up, feuds for Mania, which I'd be okay with, but I don't have a problem with Elimination Chamber. I don't. Either or, keep Elimination Chamber or don't. But why Fastlane? I don't get why. I don't get why this is a pay-per-view. Like, get rid of it. It's unnecessary. For example, I forgot that there was even a pay-per-view this Sunday. That's how little I cared about this pay-per-view. I'm still going to watch it, but I'm not looking forward to it. All right, going into plugs. Let me plug a couple people. Wrestling Soup, Mish and Joey and John. Every Thursday at 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern. Go to their Patreon page, and just for $5, you can get exclusive Wrestling Soup content like Global Balding with John Draper, and then also you can get access to past Wrestling Soup episodes, like the very first Wrestling Soup episode. DTKC, Don Tony and Kevin Castle. Their show is on every Monday night after Raw. Both of those dudes, by the way, made the switch to Mixlr. So I believe if you have a Mixlr account, and also if you have a Patreon account, you can get on their show. Listen to the show from there. For DTKC, for the Patreon, just for $5, you can get exclusive content, like more shows. Breakfast Soup with Mish and Don Tony. Kevin Castle has 2 shows. He has Castle Chronicles, which is his own solo show. And they have Dark Chronicles with Trez, who's a very good friend of the show. Shout out to Trez. She's currently healing from an accident a while back. She has to wear a sling. That fucking sucks. That sucks ass. I wouldn't know what to do if I didn't have use of my arm. Especially if it was my right arm. That would suck because I'm a righty. If I had to primarily use if I had to use my fucking left arm, I would fucking fall apart. Julian from the Wrestling Court. His show comes on before Wrestling Soup. He's a good dude. Julian's a good friend of the show. Texas Podcast Massacre. Nate, Mitch, Lisa, very good friends of the show. I did their show last November. Very fun. We reviewed Insidious. That episode's on there. They are wherever podcasts are found. They have their own website. You can find them on Google Play, iTunes. Leave a nice review. They're good people. If you like horror films, if you love horror films, even if you like bad horror films, these dudes do a great job reviewing it. They just recently reviewed Planet Terror. I'm actually going to listen to that after the show's done. I usually like to put podcasts on when I'm playing video games. I don't really like the video game sounds. I just like to put the podcast on because it makes me play it better, I guess. So look for them. They're good dudes. Follow them on Twitter, by the way. Architect Podcast with Irving. I now remember his fucking name, Irving. A good friend of mine named Derek. They review a lot more than me. They not just talk about They don't just talk about nerdy movies or nerdy shit. They go a little bit deeper than that. They talk about video games or Comic-Cons or whatever. They just recently had a friend of mine who's been on the show, Jesus. I don't know if you remember. They just did an episode where they talked about a bunch of shit. It's a very, very funny episode. They're good. They're good people. Who else am I forgetting? Tyler the Trademark, a friend of mine I follow on Twitter. He's looking to start his own podcast pretty soon, so be on the lookout for that. And am I forgetting someone? I think I'm done. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. If I'm forgetting someone, I'm sorry. Kind of tired. I need to take a shower. Need something. But yeah, just you know where to find me. Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, iTunes, anywhere podcasts are sold or distributed. Make sure to go out of your way to go on iTunes or anywhere that you can find me, and just leave me a nice little review. Follow me on Twitter, Drew Yari Show, Instagram. I have a Facebook page. And also subscribe to me on Spreaker, and just leave a nice little review if you're interested. And you will be hearing this, and I will make sure to edit and upload the show as fast as humanly possible. Probably won't do it now. I'll probably just wait till midnight to mess with everything. I don't go until late tomorrow. But yeah, next time you'll hear me is this Saturday, live on Spreaker. I'll be reviewing Captain Marvel. I'm not sure what time it'll be. I'll do a night show. I don't know. But yeah, this Saturday I'll be reviewing Captain Marvel. And that's it. Later. Take care, guys.